Hi, and welcome to Pillow Talk with Angela. I'm your host, Angela Stribling, and I'm in here just doing all kinds of stuff as I get ready to talk to my dear friend who I haven't spoken to in a long time. I'm so happy to see his face again on Pillow Talk with Angela. And he's got new music, he's got all kinds of things going on, and we're going to find out about all of it. You can tell I couldn't wait. I didn't even play my entry song. I just went right to it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, he's a composer, he's a keyboardist, he's a soulful singer. Put your hands together for the one and only Mr. Jarrod Lawson.
Hi, Angela.
Hi, how's that for an introduction?
Yeah. Wow. It's a lot to live up to.
Man, it's so good to see your face. It's been a minute.
Good to see you too. How have you been?
I've been well, keeping busy,
Yeah.
loving living out here on the West Coast, even though I,
Yeah.
I consider myself bi-coastal because I still, work in DC and get to DC quite a bit. But yeah,
Of
it's nice
course.
being in California.
Nice.
Where are
Beautiful.
you?
I'm in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay, you're still in Tennessee. Okay, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still loving it.
We actually love it a lot out here. Yeah. It's been
A lot of
really,
artists.
it's been a lovely change from, my wife and I both had been on the West Coast for most of our lives.
Yeah,
And I think we're both interested in a big change. And so we
yeah,
decided to make the move out here. And we're loving
nice.
it. It's taken a minute to sort of snap into a new community, but it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, how long have you been there?
It's been about 2 years.
Yeah, so we're on the same boat. I got married 2 years ago and moved out here
Yeah,
to the West Coast, and
right.
it does. It just takes a minute to kind of get your, plant your feet into the new area, get to know new people. But the
Yeah,
transition's good.
the transitions has been good. Yeah, it's been tough, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, I mean, moving across the country like that, as you know, is not the easiest thing to do.
same.
Um, yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy. It was a crazy thing to do, but I think we're really glad we've done it at this point. So
okay, that's good. Yeah, and the
yeah,
music scene, I understand, is quite nice there in
there's a
Nashville.
great music scene here. Yeah, and just feel like I'm scratching the surface of sort of finding, you know, all the little pockets where there are cool things happening in the city, and
Yeah,
so yeah.
yeah. Yeah, same. Yeah, I love that. So, I want to pillow talk with you. That's what the show is all about. And we're going to
Cool.
talk about your new music, which, I think before I started talking to you, even before I hit record, I was like,
Hmm.
oh my God, your song is pure fire.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so we're going to talk all about that. First, our topic. We're talking about the difference between living together versus being married.
Mm,
So,
interesting.
yeah, what would you say are the biggest, I guess, positives, negatives, however you want to answer that? What would you say is the biggest difference for you? If you've lived together, I don't know if you lived with your wife before you got married.
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, she and I got together just before the pandemic, actually. And so it was a crazy time kind of going into this, like the world shutting down and feeling like everything was on fire. And um, we decided that it was going to make the most sense for us to move in together at that time and kind of help take care of each other. And so we weren't alone and going through this crazy, you know, world changing event. Um, and what it really did was like solidified our relationship.
Mm,
We discovered that
yeah,
we lived together very well. Um, but I think when you're living together, you learn a lot of things about each other. You learn about the things that drive you crazy and the things that you know. Yeah, I guess they say that that's a great way to either make or break a relationship is to live with somebody.
it's so true. Because you can
But
only hide things if you're inclined to hide things,
yeah,
but for so
absolutely.
long. When you're living with someone, the truth comes out. You really get to see each other.
Yeah, absolutely. So she and I lived
Yeah.
together for about 3 years before we. Is that right? A couple years, 3 years. Yeah, almost before we got married.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so we just got married about 2 years ago,
Beautiful.
and yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think like what the big differences really are. I think at this point it feels kind of seamless because we lived together for a while, and it felt so comfortable, and we just sort of like seamlessly slid right into married life. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a really
No,
good
but
question.
that's a good answer though. I mean, because yeah, like you said, it can either make or break your relationship because you really get to see what the real deal is, and
Yeah,
what better way to get to know someone and, really make a fair uh, decision about moving forward or not. So,
sure.
but what about, have you ever lived with another woman that you just didn't get married to, but have you ever lived with another woman?
That I didn't get married to. No,
Okay.
I don't think I have actually.
I'm all in your business.
Sorry, I'm thinking back over the course
You're
of my
like,
life.
well, who have you talked
Yeah,
to?
right.
No, because
um,
some people, just I guess they used to call it shacking up. Some
right,
people, would prefer to never make the commitment and just get the benefits of, the living together. Just, I guess it depends on what you want
sure.
out of the
Yeah,
relationship, right?
for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
yeah,
I think for us, we knew we wanted to be in a committed relationship, and it just kind of made everything pretty easy after that. In terms of, I mean, obviously we still had things we had to work through to kind of learn how to communicate with each other and learn, how to sort of speak to each other's love languages and things like that.
hmm
And we're still learning, of course.
yeah,
But I think that we really made it a decision that we were going to like show up even in the
yeah.
difficult times. And that's, I think, the most important thing is to show up and say, hey, we're a team. We're going to work through this together. And
Mm.
so, yeah,
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's
yeah,
it. That's it right there. Just being open to growing because a lot of
yeah,
people aren't. A lot of, doesn't even matter how old you are. It just
right.
depends on you and if you're, really in it to win it. That
Yeah,
you've got to make some adjustments and acknowledge things about yourself that, you may or may not have even known, but
absolutely.
having a partner in your life is the holding up that mirror is the best way to grow as an individual. It's probably the only
Absolutely.
way. Yeah,
Absolutely. But you
yeah.
got to be pliable enough to like take that information that this person is trying to give you and use it to grow, right? To kind of have that humility.
That part. That's
Yeah,
exactly right. Yeah, totally
yeah,
agree. I
for sure.
love it. And you know what else I love? Next
Mhm.
move. Oh
Ah,
my goodness. Woo! When Fiona Bloom sent me your music, I was like, "Oh my god, he did it again." It's beautiful. And you
thank you.
introduced me to, is it Raquel or Raquel Rodriguez?
Raquel. Raquel, yeah.
Raquel. And it's
Yeah.
funny, I was trying to get some information on her because I had never heard of her. And I'm like, "Okay, this can't be the wrestler." I'm sure she gets
No.
it all the time. They spell it the same way.
She's based in LA. So you guys are in the same city.
Same state. I'm in Silicon Valley, so I'm in
Oh, you're in Silicon
San
Valley. Gotcha.
Carlos. Yeah, I'm close to San Francisco.
Got you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, she's amazing, and I love you 2 together. So, Jarrod, just tell me all about it. How did you 2 get together in the first place, and how was it working together?
I think I was going down to LA to visit my sister. My younger sister Brooke had been living in LA around in Torrance for some time. And I went down to visit her, and a good friend of mine, actually, Vanessa Peterson, who is like from this like legendary musical family in Minneapolis. Um, she just happened to have at the time been managing Raquel.
Oh,
And so, yeah, we got to talking, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're going to LA to visit your sister. You should meet Raquel, and you guys should like do a couple of days of recording and writing." And so
wow.
she kind of helped facilitate that, and we set that up. And I went down, and they've got this most incredibly like beautiful studio called Blue
Mm,
Dream Studios. So Raquel and her husband Sam Bronner run this studio, and they do recording and writing with other artists all the time there. It's really, really great scene. So while the three of us were there hanging out, they were like, "Hey, we decided to invite another musician that we love and we know you love, this guy Andres Matson from Moonchild. I'm sure you
Oh,
know the band
I love
Moonchild.
Moonchild so
Yeah,
much.
me too. So when they
Oh
said
my
Andres
goodness.
was coming through, I was super excited because I'm a huge fan of his. And so the
Yeah.
four of us got together in a room and just started throwing some ideas around. And yeah, I think Next Move, it didn't really get fully formed until, more recently. But this was several, maybe 4 years ago that we had this session, this original session.
Wow.
So yeah, we threw some ideas around, and that one in particular really stuck for me.
Mm.
I kept coming back to it and listening to it and thinking, gosh, we got to do something with this. And so over this past year, I've been working on my next record and kind of entertaining what songs should go on it. And that song kind of came back into my awareness. And I was like, you know what, we got to finish this song up and put it on the record. So
After 4 years, it
yeah,
was the timing is everything. You
yeah,
can't really
absolutely.
rush. Some things you just cannot rush. Yeah, timing
Yeah.
is everything. I love it. I had no idea that you even knew Moonchild. It's funny. I did their very first terrestrial radio interview on
Okay.
WHUR. Their first interview, which was so cool.
Wow, that's so
Yeah,
cool.
I love their sound, and I
Oh,
actually met them in person at the Capitol Jazz Festival, which is, I think, where I first met you.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 Small world. I love it when it's all coming together.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's really awesome. I mean, working with this singer, it just kind of brings out another sound in you. It's different when you're doing your solo thing versus
sure.
working with another artist. Would you
Yeah,
agree? And if you do agree, tell me about what's so different.
for sure. I mean, especially when you get multiple artists in a room together, you've got a whole life experience of different influences and sounds that kind of comprise who you are, right? So for me, I bring in, whatever, all the Stevie Wonder and D'Angelo and,
Yeah.
you know, um, and then these guys all bring in a different set of influences. And I
Yeah.
think what happens there is this incredible sort of stew, that we
Yeah.
get to cook up together. um, yeah. And what was really cool with this song is actually, so Sam, Raquel's partner Sam, is an incredible drummer. So on the original recording, he was playing live drums, and he
Oh,
sounds
wow.
so good. And
Huh.
at some point, he was like, "Hey, man, I kind of went down a rabbit hole and decided to throw this like '90s R&B, you know, kind of throwback beat on there,
Mm.
which really like transformed the sound of it from a production standpoint." And all of a sudden, it started going a different direction, and I was like, "Oh, wow, okay." Then I actually went back to the studio and started writing like a new chorus for it. I was like, wow, now I'm just like hearing other things. And so, because Raquel had written, kind of some basic lyrics for a verse and like a pre-chorus, but we didn't
Okay.
really have like a solid chorus until that point. Like he kind of sent me that, and I was like, oh man, now I'm hearing it. That like
Yes.
really sort of helped define the direction. I was like, wow, okay, here we go. Now we've got a '90s R&B slow jam. And
Yes,
so,
you do. Oh my
so
god.
yeah,
I love that. I love the
yeah,
backstory of how it actually came together, and the song really is, I mean, it's so sexy. It's so nice. Yeah, it's gonna blow up. So
agreed.
you said you're working on your new album.
Yep.
When is it coming out? When can we expect it?
We're going to be shooting for first
No
quarter of next
pressure.
year. What's that?
I said no pressure, but when's it
No
coming
pressure.
out?
Yeah. Yeah. At this moment, we're kind of shooting for first quarter of 2025.
Oh, very good. Oh, excellent.
So,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
that's right around the corner.
Yeah. Let's hope things
Yeah. Oh,
stay
that's
on track
awesome.
because you never know.
Yeah, I love that. I brought up the fact that I met you a while ago at the Capitol Jazz Festival, and we've kept up with each other
Yeah.
periodically, just musically. And I remember when I first met you, and I was like, here's this young white guy from Oregon singing so soulfully. And as if I'm correct, you grew up like not really around a whole lot of people, that it was kind of a rural environment, and you listen
Yeah,
to your dad's music and stuff like that. Are
for sure.
people genuinely surprised once they meet you after they heard your music and then they hear your story?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that it's an interesting point of my history that I kind of
Yeah,
grew up out in the country, pretty isolated,
yeah,
and certainly not like in an epicenter of Black culture or anything like
right.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But thankfully, as you pointed out a minute ago, my dad had a great record collection, and really, he like actively exposed me to
yeah.
a lot of great Black music
Mhm.
um, that changed my whole outlook
Oh,
on
yeah.
everything.
It gets
So
into your soul.
absolutely,
Some of the people
absolutely.
that you were influenced by, I know Donny Hathaway, Stevie
Oh yeah,
Wonder. Who
of
else?
course. Big time into Aretha Franklin,
Mm.
Etta James,
Yes.
love Erica Badu and D'Angelo, the whole neo
Yeah.
soul movement. Really, really into that. And then of course I love just like old, some of the old jazz
Mhm.
from the whatever 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Like
Yeah.
super into obviously being a piano player. I was always really into like the guys that could play stride piano because it's
Ooh,
something I wish I could do and I try, but I'm not
it
great
looks
at it.
really hard.
But yeah, the Art Tatums and the Oscar
Mm.
Petersons and
Oh, yeah. The
people like that,
masters.
just absolute masters. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's so good. I'm so happy to know that you're still, strong in the music
Oh
and
yeah.
putting out really good music. It's amazing. So I already know what's next for you. What's next is, you're coming out with this new album. Do you have a name for it yet?
I do, but I'm not going to tell you
Okay,
quite yet.
fine.
I'm sorry.
Fine. Okay. But the vibe, can we expect it to be pretty much on the same lines as Next Move?
I mean, it's really kind of all over the place.
I'm
It's
trying.
got a, it's got a lot of different influences and different directions, which I love actually.
I do too.
Some of my favorite records are just ones that are kind of like one song to the next is like, wow, that's a totally different style than the last song. Wow, that's a totally different style than the last song. I particularly love that.
Yeah, I
So
do too. It
yeah,
represents you, and that's all we
yeah,
want from an artist. Just give us
absolutely.
you, right?
Yeah,
And you've got the freedom,
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
got the freedom to do that. Jarrod, thank you for spending time with us.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me, Angela.
Yeah, I always love it when I get a chance to see you and talk to you.
Likewise.
And I just want to ask you, however you want to close this out, beginning with giving us your social media.
Of
And
course.
then if you want to sing us out or just, any inspiring words, in these days and times, whatever you want to end with,
Okay.
it's all you.
Um, well, my socials, my main two would just be my Instagram is jlawsings at jlawsings, and then my Facebook is Jarrod Lawson Music. Those are kind of the two, yeah, the places that you can find me the most.
Great.
Um, yeah, as far as some closing words, let's see. You know, I think we're just living in such interesting times right now where there's a lot of quickly flung opinions and a lot of animosity towards other people just being thrown around without a lot of information behind it.
Mhm.
um, and I think we just need to treat each other with more kindness and more forgiveness, and also to kind of humble ourselves enough to sort of examine whether what the things that we're pushing out into the world, maybe we can let go of just like holding onto it so tightly and
Mhm.
just say, you know what, I could be wrong. Whatever the things that I'm putting out there, I could totally be wrong, and I probably am. And let's just be okay with that. And you know, don't hold on to it so tightly.
That's beautiful. I
Um,
love it, that. Man, I'm glad I asked you that question. That's my favorite of the whole conversation.
Just
I love the other stuff too, but woo, thank you for that. That was
okay.
definitely right from your heart. Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you, Angela.
Thank you
Appreciate
for
you.
all that you do. I appreciate you. Keep singing so beautifully and, playing piano. And
Mm,
looking forward to your entire project. So we're going to, of course, play this on radio as well as social media, and we'll play the new song. So
great.
can't
I
wait for that.
appreciate the support. It means so much.
Always, it's all love. You already know that.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you
the
so much.
sweetest.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us here on Pillow Talk with Angela and Jarrod Lawson. We'll see you soon. Bye.